Katy Perry's recent venture into space was meant to be a triumphant, awe-inspiring moment, an emblem of progress, empowerment, and symbolic elevation. Instead, it exploded into a firestorm of public backlash, triggering uncomfortable questions about celebrity activism, privilege, and the risks of performative symbolism in an age of heightened cultural awareness. When Perry boarded Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin rocket, she likely envisioned herself joining a rarefied circle of modern pioneers. Riding the new Shepard to the edge of Earth's atmosphere, she became the latest high-profile figure to participate in commercial spaceflight. The mission, heavily promoted as a historic moment for women in space, was brief, just 11 minutes from launch to landing, but its ambition, at least in messaging, was cosmic. Perry brought along a daisy, a symbolic nod to her 4-year-old daughter, and appeared visibly emotional in pre-flight interviews. She spoke of breaking boundaries, of showing girls they could aim high, and of redefining what exploration looks like for women. But for many watching from Earth, the words rang hollow. The public didn't celebrate her journey, they rejected it. The backlash was immediate, widespread, and brutally honest. Critics accused Perry of exploiting a billionaire's space fantasy for personal gain, branding the event as self-congratulatory, tone-deaf, and emblematic of a growing disconnect between the ultra-wealthy and everyday people. Social media platforms lit up with criticism, memes, and biting commentary. For many, the image of Perry gently floating in zero gravity alongside other affluent passengers didn't symbolize empowerment. It screamed privilege. What was framed as progress quickly unraveled into parody. Observers pointed out the stark contrast between Perry's short commercial experience and the grueling, high-stakes achievements of actual female astronauts. Pioneers like Sally Ride and Mae Jemison earned their place in history through years of rigorous training, scientific contributions, and personal sacrifice. Perry, on the other hand, simply bought a seat. The comparison wasn't just unflattering, it felt offensive. The timing added fuel to the fire. NASA, the public's primary symbol of space exploration, has been struggling to address internal criticisms about diversity and inclusion. Reports suggest the agency is quietly downplaying its own commitments to equity, casting a long shadow over any supposed progressive milestones elsewhere. Against this backdrop, Perry's journey looked less like a cultural breakthrough and more like a corporate publicity stunt. Her sunny pre-flight optimism collided hard with a cultural moment that demanded more depth, more context, and more sincerity. Even Perry's longtime fans felt the sting. Social media engagement dipped noticeably in the aftermath. Comment threads on her posts filled with disappointment and frustration. Some fans accused her of selling out or chasing relevance through gimmicks. Others, though more sympathetic, admitted the moment simply didn't land the way she had hoped. There was no groundswell of inspiration, only a swell of confusion and criticism. Within the entertainment industry, reactions were similarly cold. While few celebrities named Perry directly, several prominent figures spoke out against the trend of space tourism being used as a vanity project. One acclaimed actor mocked the stunt as a billionaire playdate disguised as empowerment, while a Grammy-winning artist called it the opposite of inspiring. The broader message: the public has had enough of luxury masquerading as virtue. Behind the scenes, sources close to Perry described her as shaken by the reaction. She reportedly believed the trip would cement her reputation as a forward-thinking advocate for women. Instead, it opened her up to allegations of elitism, performative feminism, and strategic opportunism. PR experts were swift to weigh in, calling the misfire a classic case of misjudging the cultural temperature. Intentions don't matter if the optics are this bad, one veteran publicist remarked. Especially in a climate this sensitive, the daisy, meant to be a tender, symbolic gesture, has only deepened the controversy. Footage of the flower drifting through the capsule, which Perry hoped would tug at viewers' heartstrings, became a lightning rod for ridicule. Critics saw it as emotional manipulation, a calculated moment of sentimentality with no real substance behind it. Perry's team is now in full crisis management mode. Mentions of the spaceflight have been quietly removed from her official channels. Sources suggest that her PR and brand consultants are pivoting hard toward damage control, working to reframe Perry's image, promote upcoming music releases, and emphasize charitable projects. There are also whispers of closed-door meetings with philanthropic advisors, suggesting a strategy to realign her public image with more grounded, socially aware causes. Still, the damage may be long-lasting. This episode has become a case study in the pitfalls of celebrity activism disconnected from real-world impact. The optics of wealth, luxury, and exclusivity are more fraught than ever. In an era of widening inequality and global crises, Any action that appears self-serving or out of touch risks swift, merciless public rejection. What Perry experienced is not just a temporary media hiccup. It's a referendum on what audiences expect from public figures today. The difference between spectacle and substance is no longer a subtle one. It is glaring. And the public has grown increasingly adept at spotting the gap. The broader message for celebrities is clear. Sincerity cannot be manufactured. You can't simulate authenticity through grand gestures, especially not ones funded by billionaires and wrapped in corporate marketing. If the values don't align with the action, if it feels like theater instead of truth, the backlash will be swift, widespread, and unforgiving. For Perry, what was meant to be an uplifting moment for herself, for her daughter, and for her fans has instead become a stark reminder of the limits of symbolic action. She reached for the stars, but the weight of public opinion has brought her back down to earth with jarring speed. And while she has yet to issue a formal statement, the silence is speaking volumes. Some insiders speculate that her team is debating whether saying anything at all might only reignite the controversy. But others argue that avoiding the conversation only further disconnects her from a culture that demands accountability and reflection. In a world where perception is currency, trust is harder than ever to earn and terrifyingly easy to lose. Perry's space trip, once touted as historic, now serves as a textbook example of how quickly a well-intentioned moment can be swallowed by miscalculation and tone-deaf optics. Whether Katy Perry can recover her footing remains an open question. But one thing is certain, in today's cultural landscape, the path to redemption isn't through more spectacle. It's through humility, purpose, and genuine engagement. Anything less is just floating.